Okay, we've started. Welcome to Worldwide Slot Car Chat number 66. I'm the substitute host. What can you do? You know, it's you got to read contracts. That's all I can say. But we have everybody here that is usually here. Of course, Greg is here. We've got Don, Steve, Petrucci, Martin, Leo, Dennis, Kev, Garth, Kelly, Ray, Brian, Nick, and John. But to start us off, we have our roving slot car expert, Greg Gobb, to basically tell us what and he's up to and where he is. Where are you?
Okay, so I am at what is called the Quarrel, which is an HO aficionados race that happens yearly for the last decade or so. I was invited by the host of the event because I'd been helping him with his plans for digital racing with Carrera Digital and possibly future Oxygen Digital. So I'm gonna turn my camera around so you can see the digital track. There we go. So this is what a whole bunch of HO guys are going to be running on here tomorrow evening. 20 some guys are going to be here round robining that 6-car digital Carrera digital race. And so currently Brad and I are testing the settings to make sure that we can efficiently get 6 guys through with you know, fueling at least once, but not too often, and the cars run well and everything's working efficiently. But that's not the main event. This is the main event is in the house down the stairs. So let us take a trip.
We're literally on the road here.
Hey, I'm going to talk to you in a few minutes. I'm giving a tour to a bunch of live people. So you probably don't want to be in that. Okay.
I like to say airports in my bag. Do you want to put that
All right.
into your
So here's some of the pit guys doing their thing.
We need the other guys muted.
This is the yellow track. What do we call this track? Algarve track. So this is a six lane HO track. Brad Bowman track. So a Brad's track, routed HO track. All of these tracks are Brad Bowman tracks. Fantastic, beautiful, smooth tracks. And these cars are not toy cars. They're toy cars, but they're like the NSR or Scale Auto kind of HO, right? The equivalent as far as HO cars go. This is the blue track. I'm assuming this is called the Quarrel. Another 6-lane Brad Bowman track. Sounds like some of the guys are racing on one of the other tracks. So let's go see the other tracks. All righty.
How many tracks are there?
There are 4 tracks total. This one is called the Mini KSR, which is KSR is short for the Cat Spa Ring. People have seen the HO track called the Cat Spa Ring is basically this beautiful routed HO landscaped track for Greg Katz, I think was his last name. It's moved around a little bit, but this is basically a miniaturized version of that track. You can see we've got elevations and stuff. The original Cat Spa Ring is bigger and taller and longer and landscaped. If you look up Cat Spa Ring, K-A-T-Z Spa Ring, you'll find that on YouTube and the internet. Beautiful track. And then that's actually just a 4-lane track. The rest of them are 6 lanes. And then this is the red track. What do we call this track, Mike? Just the red track, okay. And 6-lane HO. There's Mike, the host, and a couple of racers. So let's see if you can actually see some of these little team cars as they go around. I'll just kind of get a wide angle here.
Whoa!
And these are not Magna traction cars. These are what they call Frey cars, and they are very fast and very well tuned, and a pleasure to drive. They are not lifelike or Aurora cars. So that's the quick tour.
Do they have different classes? Sorry to interrupt.
There's a couple of different classes. I'm not familiar with them, so basically I'm here as a guest. Let me switch my camera back around. I did bring my slotted controller, and for this kind of car, it actually works pretty well because you do need brakes. You don't need coasting because, like I said, they're not magnet traction cars. They're gravity cars, basically. So they rely on physics, not magnets. for their grip. Most of the tires are silicone or silicone sponge tires. And I'm driving other people's cars. I don't, these cars are in, the upper $200 range for how much they would cost if you wanted to buy one off of a guy, or, that's how much time and money you would put into it if you were to try to build your own. But you would have this guy doing your car for you. Not me. In fact, I'm racing some of his cars. He's been generously allowing me to race some of his cars.
Now,
That's
Greg,
it.
are they hard body or are they back bodies, or
They're Lexan bodies.
would you happen to have one around that you could perhaps hold up?
They're resin bodies. See how stupid I am?
Do you have one
But they're
handy
very
that
light and very thin. I mean, the cars are what? How many grams?
19, 21.
Yeah, less than 20 grams for the total weight of the car. And of course, the motors do have some downforce, but only in like 6 grams. So relative to car weight, that's a lot, but not really. So they don't drive like they have magnets. That's what I would say. They drive with their silicone tires on a clean track. They drive like silicone tires on a clean track
Wow.
with no magnets, pretty much.
Would you happen to have one handy that we could maybe just take a?
You got one handy?
Not on me.
No, not on me. Oh, everybody hid their cars away. Guess I'm going back downstairs to look at some cars. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll look at some of the guys' pits while they're working on cars.
Cool.
I guess they're all going to lunch. All right, here's a pit. They've got magnifying, electronic magnifiers so that they can see these things in better detail. Here's the underside of a car. So it still looks like your typical, I've got a cheap toy that looks like this to my untrained eye. But there are things that you don't get on your typical Tomy or Lifelike or Aurora car. Like weights on the fronts of the axles. Let's see here. So you see that right there?
Yeah.
That's not a pickup. That's a weight on the axle.
Oh, to keep to keep the car in the slot.
Yep. And it's just hanging there. It's not. It's hanging around the axle, so it doesn't spin because it's heavy on the bottom. And there are some cars with concentric weights. So let's see. This has concentric weights? Nope, that's freight car.
Thank you. We're looking for. Here's a slip-on car.
There we go. All right, so this one has concentric weights on the front axle.
Yep. And slip-on silicone tires.
Slip-on silicone tires. So they call this one slip-on tires because, like it sounds, they slip right on. The other cars will have,
Sponge rubber.
but mounted with glue or
Silicone covered sponge rubber tires.
glued to the rims. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Now, Greg, Ray just had a question about the tracks, that they don't seem to have a lot of bank in their corners.
no, most of these are pretty much flat. There do exist HO tracks of that nature, just not here. And they're not as common as for like 1/24th scale racing. So, any other questions before I go get lunch? I'm hungry.
Where is this located?
Well, it's all that
we're-
walking up and down stairs.
We're in Wisconsin. I flew into Milwaukee, took about an hour to get here. What town are we in? Has that got banks?
There's a whole 18 feet on the wall.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. So that's got to be a magnet traction.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
All magnet.
I think, what's the nearest town? Watertown?
Watertown,
Jefferson, Watertown area. Yeah.
Kinda in Watertown.
We're kind of in Watertown. Okay, there we go. That's it. Somebody drove me here. I have no idea.
Wow. Well, the celebrity lifestyle is good. You're enjoying it.
And today on The Rich and Famous.
Greg, this is the guy that developed Slot Track, right?
That is, yep, he's the guy.
Yeah, that's the system our whole group uses. I've talked to him for over many years back.
I'm sure
I'll
he
be
knows.
darned. Yeah. Great timing system. I mean, it's marvelous.
Oh yeah, it's. Let me switch my camera around here. Come on. Where are you? Now that I want you, there we go. I'll get a close up on the timing system here. Every track has 2 monitors on it.
Yep, we do the same. We do the same thing.
So this one is like all the laps for like a certain amount of time. And then this was just basic last lap, best lap for each lane. And then he's got this, he's gonna stream live on Friday. I don't know what his YouTube channel is. I can get that later. But look at this.
Yeah, it's of all the timing systems we tried, this is so far superior. It's unbelievable. Plus it's free on the web now.
This is his streaming control deck, and he's got wide angle cameras on every track.
Sure.
This is hardcore stuff here.
When I left off, he was developing a track of his own that he could sell, big sections. Kind of like that company in Germany, you know, those 6-foot units that are put together.
Yeah.
He was in the process of developing a track like that. I don't know whatever happened to it.
I think he might have mentioned it once or twice, but you know, Brad makes such great tracks, and he loves Brad's tracks. So,
Well, as long as you're
what was the software's name, Steve?
Slot Track. SLOTTRAK.
So Greg, as long as you're there, you may as well come up here and race with us Thursday or tonight. You're 2.5 hours away.
It'd be easier for you to come down here because I'm not going to get any of these guys to drive me up there, and I don't got a car. So we're going to be racing digital tomorrow evening.
That's wild. Yeah. I stop by there on our way to Elkhart Lake quite often. It's right on the road to Elkhart.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
Well, you've got cars, Greg. They're just the wrong scale.
I actually brought 3 of my cheap ass toy HO cars, and they drive like garbage as I expected them to. And I brought, and since we're doing 1/32 scale digital, I brought one of my slotted cars with the Type C chip in it, so I could try running it on Carrera digital and then doing some oxygen and stuff like that. So I've been focused mainly on practicing on these tracks because I'm not familiar with this type of car or at all with these tracks. I'm just glad my controller works because at least I'm familiar with that. So I'm way out of my comfort zone, but at least I have that little bit of home comfort with my own controller. Otherwise, I'd be racing with some bizarre controller I've never used before. I mean, not bizarre. They're still controllers. Mike standing here,
This one?
like that one here. Look at that fancy controller.
Not as fancy as yours.
Mine has more knobs. That doesn't mean it's better.
I don't want to talk about your knobs.
I think we're gonna move on to a different subject. Any more questions?
So what type of controllers are those, Greg? Are they commercially available as well? Are they
I'm sure. What
homemade,
type of
or-
controllers are they? What brand?
That's an M Magic by Steve Medanic. It works with 1/32, 1/24, and HO. Analog. So, yeah. I can use a bunch of DeFalcos here and a bunch of resistor-based controllers too. That's electronic. That's cot-based. Potentiometer-based. Steve. So, is this capacitor?
MOSFET, electronic, PWM.
Call you on the way up.
All right. These guys are getting hungry, and I'm hungry too. What else? I'll probably be back on later after we have lunch because you'll be on for 2 hours. So I'll come back and say hi. But I think I'm gonna sign off for now.
But you're having lunch, I guess, at the event, right? You're not going away, or?
No, I think we're gonna go out.
Somebody probably saw.
Oh.
Yeah. He's not gonna set up a buffet here. Pretty much every flat surface has a pit box on it. Seriously. And everybody's not even here yet. This is basically the day before the racing. So probably by this evening, this place will be just absolutely jam-packed with pit boxes and people. And then tomorrow will be a nut house.
Wow, holy cow, that's really cool.
What is the event that you're hosting? It's
The Quarrel.
Okay.
QUARREL. That's what it's called, right, Mike? The Quarrel? The Quarrel, yep.
If you search on it on Facebook, you'll get it.
Yeah, search Facebook for The Quarrel.
Right.
Is that where we can watch the YouTube live too?
Yeah, I'm gonna post a link up on my Facebook page to watch the race live.
Okay,
on YouTube.
so find the Quarrel on Facebook, and he'll post the YouTube link on there, and then you can watch me just suck. Yeah. No, you said it. You nailed it. I'm gonna suck. My goal is to not be dead frickin' last. That's my goal, and I'll be happy if I'm not.
Guaranteed you're not gonna be that.
Okay. He has confidence in me. Me, not so much, but we'll see.
Is this your first foray into HO?
What was that?
Is this your first try or first foray? Into
Pretty
HO?
much, yeah. This is I've the last time I pulled the trigger on an HO car was a cheap toy when I was a child, or a cheap toy 10 years ago. I've never pulled a trigger on this kind of HO car on this kind of track, so it's not comparable really in any way. So yeah, this is Top Gun stuff here, and I'm a young gun. I got no guns. I got a cap gun. There you go.
Cool. Okay, we'll go have lunch, and we'll continue with our usual stuff.
All right, have fun. Talk to
All
you
right,
later.
well, and don't forget to join us back when you get back from lunch. Oh, he's muted already. Something tells me there's going to be a few martinis at lunch, perhaps. Yeah.
He's gone. He's done a runner.
Yeah, there he's on. Yeah, see, the cars may be small, but the drinks will be big.
There you go, guys. You can tell I'm on the road today, right?
Yeah,
So Greg's not the only guy on the road, right?
Yeah, what is it?
Before you guys freak out, right? I am not driving. I'm in England, right? You understand? I am not driving. Right?
Okay.
Wait a minute. So, are you saying in the UK passengers can drink?
Yeah. Shit. You guys in the new world, Jesus, you can't cross county lines with alcohol and stuff, right?
That's like living in Texas.
I will tell you a quick story. I was in Hamburg, and I was just minding my own business, having a drink on a street corner as you normally do, near a kind of hot dog stand, frankfurters and stuff. And there were these two Americans there, like young guys, maybe 18, 19, and they said, "Shit, man, this is culture. Screw all that McDonald's shit. Here we are. We're having a beer on a corner. We're eating these frankfurters, and nobody's giving us a hard time. This is culture, man. We should move here." They enjoyed it. They enjoyed Germany. Drivers are not allowed to do this, but anyway, show and tell stuff. Yeah. I'm on the road. I'm in a car. I can't do you the show stuff, but I can do you a couple of tells, right?
All right.
Let me think. Slot car chat 55. We talked about wheel balancing, and I showed you my gizmo that I made up for a couple of bucks with a G clamp and various things. And it appears that I don't know if Greg knows this, but it appears that NSR and some of the other slot car manufacturers actually watch this blog, this thing that we do, because NSR have just released a set of balanced crowns. They look cool, and they are properly balanced. You know, they've cut the pieces out of the contract to make them balanced. And I looked at that and I thought, wow, that looks cool. Andrea, you guys, you're paying attention to those hundredths of a millisecond, you know, so you know, NSR, love it. And I'd pop up a picture here, but like it's all a bit tenuous. I'm not even sure I'm going to continue to be able to keep this alive. So that's one little show and tell. In a couple of weeks' time, I'll pop up the thing. If you want to check the NSR Factory Facebook page, they have that on there. You'll see that they've cut pieces out of the angle winder contracts to make them balanced. Absolutely awesome. I love it when manufacturers go the extra mile, and NSR do that. I love that. The other thing is, maybe 2 weeks ago, because I didn't attend the midnight shift last week, because, you know, hey, the midnight shift's hard work for me. We were talking about the NSR the slotted SCP2 controller, and how there's a lot of stuff being talked about how pulse width modulation controllers drop voltage under power. And I said that, you know, I'm gonna do that thing where I attach the relay and make the box and get the whole bypass thing working. And I did. I talked with Maurizio. I got some various pieces that I needed. I bought the relays. I showed you the relays last week. And I don't have any evidence to say that it works better. But I would say that, you know, I put it in the fastest lap there's ever been down at London Slot Car. I mean, ever been, the fastest lap there's ever been. And there was some urgency about the car that was not quite there before. When I opened the throttle and hit it hard, the car, you know, thundered forward in a more meaningful, a more stated manner. Now, I don't have any scientific basis yet, but I will. I'll put a resistor across the motors and I'll do some scientific tests. But my feeling is that having a relay over the SCP2, there's nothing wrong with that. That is adding value. So,
isn't the lap time evidence enough, Alan?
No, because, you know, there's all sorts of stuff. Moisture in the air, you know, what the temperature was. The tracks are quite warm at the moment because of the atmosphere in London. So that could be it. There's lots of reasons you could say I've got good lap time. I had a couple of beers down at the hall. So, you know, I was loose, loosey goosey, as they say. So there are lots of reasons I could have managed to crack that lap time besides the relay bypass. But
you need to put a switch in that will either energize the relay or not energize the relay, and then you could swap back from one to the other straight away.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say that I feel the difference. There's a definite feel difference.
Oh yeah, I would agree with you.
But whether it really is or not. Now, there is something that Greg should know, because Greg was talking about the SCP2 and he was talking about mode 2 on the controller. And mode 2 on the controller, kid mode, is a way to slow down the controller, put it into slow mode. If you put the controller into slow mode, in kid mode, mode 2, when you have the top switch on fast or medium, the relay kicks. When it's in slow, the relay does not kick, no matter where you put the speed control. So I think it's a fairly strong evidence that the mode 2 does work, and the relay not kicking shows that the controller really does slow down properly. So, you know, I'll follow this up in a couple of weeks' time with, you know, I'd
like to follow up on
show you what happened. But it was an experiment worth doing, and it was good.
I found the photos that Alan was talking about the gears. I can share them if you like. Oh, except John, you'll need to enable the screen share, please.
Yep, no problem. Let me just make sure I know how to do that.
Before you segue from the controllers, I did want to say that I had experienced it. I want to follow up on. I purchased the SCP3 controller, and I was experiencing some initial voltage to the track, and it turned out it most likely was the dongle. Well, we replaced that, and it looks like that problem cleared up, and the controller is performing exceptionally well now. And so, yeah, someone to definitely report back that it must have been a defective. One of the components was defective. So, go ahead. Oh wow!
Can you see that? So what they've done is they've just machined away pieces of the boss of the gear and left this little piece at the bottom, like a counterbalance on a crankshaft, probably just to counterbalance the weight of the screw.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Of course, that only works that way because it's made of aluminium, the boss.
Or aluminum, one of the two.
It does indeed, Wayne. Aluminum, aluminium, you're right, Wayne. It's true. That is the only reason it works. And be aware that this is a factory solution. It's not a perfectly balanced solution, because if you want to perfectly balance your crowns and wheels, you have to do it for every single installation you make. But this is a very good attempt by NSR to improve the situation. I've got to commend that.
Mm-hmm. The next thing we need from them is a hollow set screw.
Well, it would have worked to have put another M3 grub, another grub screw on the opposite side, I suppose.
Mhm.
Another
Just makes the
hole,
whole
another
thing
thread,
heavier.
and another
that's all.
screw.
No way, no. We talked through that before. Adding weight is never good. And grub screws are 180 diametrically opposed, just doubling the failure. They're not adding value. They're just
I do remember.
doubling the
Yeah,
potential for failure. Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what it looked like.
I can honestly say that I didn't know that they were new. I've been around the NSR site myself a little bit in the past week or so for the first time ever.
Right,
And
sorry
I
to
saw
interrupt,
those.
but
Just
I've
didn't
got to
know they
go
were new.
out in the car, put the air conditioning on and go for a drive. I can't stand this. Too hot here. I'll see you next week.
See you next week, Petrucci.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, Petrucci.
That's a very British response to this weather, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I guess you don't have central cooling, right?
No, we don't generally install air conditioning in homes. Only the very high end, might have it, but in general terms, no.
Well, it's dropped down to 105 down here. It was 117, so we have air.
Oh yeah, you need it down there. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
But is it a dry heat?
Absolutely, Las Vegas.
Oh, then yeah, it's fine.
Ironically, we had some 2 days ago. We had a complete storm. It was 105, and it was just a pouring rain. So.
Wow.
Dry heat
That's
just
like
means you don't sweat while it's killing you.
Yeah, that's I guess
Yeah.
so. I 105 and pouring rain. That's like having an external dishwasher.
Yeah, it's not that you don't sweat, it's that it evaporates and gives you to think that you're not sweating. You are sweating and you are dying. You just don't know it.
Sometimes
Well, hey, listen, ignorance is bliss.
yeah.
Yeah, I had something put on the
Cut yourself open there, John.
well.
How come you're smiling?
Exactly. I'm eternally blissful. Has anyone else got anything else that they want to show and tell?
I do, John.
Yeah, go for it.
Last week I promised you guys a video
Oh yeah.
of my track and whatnot. You want to see it?
Go do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's see.
I think you should make sure you're enabled to share. You should be. Yeah. There we
How's
go.
that? You ready? Can you see it?
Yep, we can see it.
Yeah.
There we go. Oops.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, guys. This is my video of my stock car.
You may want to bump up the volume a wee bit if you can.
By Bob Harden.
Oh, let's see how I do that.
Right. Downstairs.
Oh, it might have been low anyway.
It's all about the visuals anyway, Neil. That's okay.
Exactly. Disregard my chat.
Okay. Oh, nice
You
cabinet.
can narrate live.
What's that?
You can narrate for us live, Neil.
Yeah.
I guess I could.
Many.
But yeah, that's just that's all my slot cars. I don't have a whole lot.
Or it's 132nd.
Well, they're nicely displayed though. That's beautiful.
NSR there.
Now,
I
are
can tell
those
you're a
are those
collector.
all shelf queens, Neil, or do you actually run them all?
Well, those are brand new. I haven't run them yet, but I don't have any shelf queens at all.
Good man.
Whatever I have, I'm gonna run.
Model cars I want to make.
Oh.
Stock cars I have.
Oh, you got a kit there you got to build.
Oh, I know. I got kits. I got model kits. That I want to. That's what I want to do eventually. Is build my own slot cars.
Show stuff.
I used to be into HO years and years ago, so I still have all that stuff.
Wow, well, they're worth more in the package, I guess, right?
Some of them, yeah.
Oh, I love the bridge.
Yeah, it's scratch built.
Nice. Oh, look at that.
That's the whole thing right there.
Have you got a name for the castle?
Not yet. No, I'm just messing around.
Doug.
Doug.
I measured the track today. It's 89 feet.
Wow, nice.
Castle I'm building from scratch.
That's all made out of foam.
Made out of foam.
Oh, so I mean styrofoam?
Styrofoam, yeah. The insulation, you know, pink
Yeah,
insulation.
yeah. So you assembled each little square.
And every little square was cut, yes. That's my rock work.
Very
Very
nice.
good.
Now, is the rock work plaster or foam as well?
No, it's plaster.
Oh, that's probably why it looks so good. It looks great.
I'm doing some foam here on the side. You'll see it here. I just started to build that.
I cut every one of those pieces of wood by hand.
Yeah, well, there you go. Perfect.
Cool.
Now you still got some blue tape there because you're working on it, right?
Blueprints.
Yes.
Drew up.
Oh, I can see your sculpt there. Now, is that also foam that you've sculpted?
It's all foam, yeah.
Scan back around.
Nice.
Again, here's my start finish.
Oh, I love the elevations too.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
run
I
with
have-
magnets in your cars?
Some do, some don't.
Okay, because I don't see a lot of borders to give slide to the car, give on the outside of the turns.
I do on parts of the track.
Oh, okay.
I should have made them wider. There is borders there, but they're only about 1.25 inches wider than the track.
Mhm.
Now, have you started to paint the track, Neil? I saw a couple of pieces painted there.
Those two pieces are the color I'm gonna paint the track.
You'll find a wonderful improvement in the track once you paint it.
Well, that's what
Because that's what I know.
Chris had said, yes. And Dennis, I believe.
Yeah, no, and
There
they're
are
absolutely
reasons
correct.
why this looks like a drive in the countryside rather than a race circuit.
True, true. Yeah, I made all those guardrails myself too.
Nice. You know what they remind me of is like Warwick Farm in the Tasman series.
So anyway, we come around from the start finish and we hit my second turn. Is where I have these.
I'm loving the detail on that track. I'm loving that. Now, so many tracks I race, there's nothing. It's track and that's all. Most don't even have lights or anything. But
Yeah,
this is
that's
lovely.
really
I'm loving this.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, it really gives such, when you race on a track with some scenery, it just gives it such a nice sort of sense of speed.
Looking at that bridge makes me think it's time somebody built a 32nd scale replica of Singapore or one of those. And can you imagine putting up all those buildings and those bridges?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'd be
that would
awesome.
be nice, yeah.
How would you see the cars between the buildings,
Yeah.
Dennis?
Yeah, well, just
You'd need a
stand-
helicopter. You'd need to
Well,
be
you just-
driving through a glass floor from the floor above.
put yourself a little taller than the buildings. I mean, you could probably do it.
Yeah, that good point. Yeah, you just get a very high point of view of work.
Stand on something.
I saw an episode on one of the previous episodes that had some type of a image, hologram type image being projected. Has anybody looked into that? Because that was a very intriguing concept I saw.
Oh yeah, there was some of that. What was that about?
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, it was very very nicely presented, and I'd love to do something like that with my final layouts that I get going. It's so cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've also seen it done for backdrops as well, where people will take a projector and project a different scene on the background.
Workstation.
Yep, nice.
Neil, I hate to tell you that's just too neat.
Neat, that's
too
a
neat.
mess.
No, that's too neat.
A tidy workbench is a sign of a
Like
disturbed mind.
Yes, it's
Well,
exactly tiny as sick.
Okay, but we have to give you points for the drink though. Well
Oh,
done.
that looks like that's a sim set up there as well. Oh man,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys got some toys.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
my
it sits
simulator.
within the
I built
Zoom
that
meeting.
from scratch.
Nice.
That's what kind of wheel do you have? What do you got as a wheel?
Logitech.
I'm trying to.
No, it looks like a thrust.
It's a
Thrustmaster?
Thrustmaster, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a mess too.
Very nice. Oh, I love that old school receiver's nice.
Oh, that's old too, buddy. That's in the 70s.
Well, no, that's what you want. Yeah. What was it?
No,
Mirage
it's
or
Sansui.
Cardi? Oh, okay, gotcha.
There's that.
And is this all in a basement or in a garage?
This is my basement. Yeah, this is
your
my.
basement. Okay.
My wife wants nothing to do with the basement, so it's all mine.
Oh, good for you.
So this is
Hey,
it.
Well
that's
done.
a man pad. That is a man pad. I want one of
Absolutely.
those. That's what I want. Basement full of my gear like that. I love that.
That is
That's
awesome.
pretty much it, then, guys.
Oh wow, super cool.
And how much
Thanks.
do you charge people to come and play?
I have not had anybody. I can't find anybody that's into slot cars anywhere near me.
Oh dear.
Well, I'm
So-
sure some will make our way over at one point.
Hey,
Yeah.
everybody's welcome.
Careful now, they'll
Yeah,
you know.
and where are
we
you?
won't leave.
I'm in New Jersey.
Which part of Jersey?
I'm actually in Bridgewater, New Jersey, which is I guess it's central.
Isn't Dave Kennedy in that area?
Kennedy's
He's in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in Pennsylvania. I think he's in Western Pennsylvania too. So that's quite a haul for me. Pennsylvania is a huge state.
Mhm.
Takes forever to drive through that state. So
But there are a lot of guys in New Jersey running slot cars. It's just going to be a matter of finding them.
yeah, they I think mostly they're like hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Oh,
A lot of them. I'll get there.
That's really cool though, Neil. Oh yeah, you definitely have your space. That's awesome.
Yeah. I tell you what I do miss, because I was just doing it today. I have I cleaned up for you guys so I could do that video, and I cleaned up my track so I could actually put a car on it. So I have this Carrera Cheetah. I love this car. It was my very first car I bought. And I put it on the track, and it runs great, but it has this clanking sound. It's like something was rubbing, but it wasn't. I took the body off and I ran it, and it still made that noise. And it's the gearing, like when you turn the wheels and you watch the gears, it actually jerks,
Yeah.
as you're turning.
Yeah.
It's not smooth, and that jerking is the noise I'm hearing on the track. It's like clankety clank. You know what I mean?
Check, have a look at it and see the pinion split.
probably the pinion is cracked.
Well, yeah, I didn't take it off. I have it all apart right now, and I'm gonna put a slotted brass pinion, and I have a slotted 27 tooth gear that I'm gonna put on there.
Mhm.
The problem is I have to use a new axle and which is fine. But I'm gonna need new wheels because the Carrera are all those push on, they have splines on them. Along splines for the gear too.
Yeah, you'll actually find if you're careful that you may be able to use the Carrera wheels for a little while. If you use a slotted axle, the slotted axle will fit through the Carrera bushings, and it'll be a tighter fit in the bushings than the Carrera axle was, and the gear. And then the wheels may just, if they slide on, just hold them on with a little bit with a touch of super glue.
Okay.
And you should be fine for a while. But
Okay.
yes, eventually it would be better to put on a set of aluminum wheels.
That brings my next dilemma was trying to figure out how you measure the stock wheel so I can get an aftermarket wheel and tire. It's very confusing.
Welcome to the world of like multinational slot car racing, because
all wheels are different. Yep.
When I started slot car racing, for me it was obvious that all the axles should be the same and all the wheels should fit and all the tires should fit.
Exactly.
And it just isn't so. It just isn't so. The axles are all supposed to be 332, but because of metric rounding and various things, they're not. And all of the different manufacturers round up, round down, or round up and then up, or down and then down. Nothing quite fits. It's infuriating. But think of it as the challenge of slot car racing. Like, I've learned a lot of stuff over the last 5 years. And this is one of those little things that gives me that little technical advantage, finding the right way. A great tool to have is a 3/32 reamer for your wheels. If you've got NSR wheels, you want to put NSR wheels onto a Carrera axle or a slotted axle, you can just run a reamer through them by hand, and you can open it up just enough so that they fit. Lots of things you can do to make the right wheels go the wrong angle or the wrong way around,
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how to measure the stock wheel, right? Because I guess you have your width.
Yeah, there are 4 dimensions you need apart from the axle size. You need the width, you need the height of the diameter across the center of the wheel.
The center, because that's the highest part.
Yeah, the diameter across the flanges, and then you need the width of that centerpiece.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, there's quite a few, but when you go to look at wheels, none of those numbers match up.
No, I'm sure they won't. What you're really looking for would be you need to find something you need to find an aftermarket wheel where the beads, the seats of the smaller diameter of the outside, the beads of the wheel are roughly the same size as what's on the car, so they look right.
Correct.
And you've got to find something that takes the right axle, and then after that you find a tire that fits that wheel that's the right diameter. You're not going to be able to find all of the pieces unless if you wanted to use the original tires, then I think you're going to be out of luck that they would fit anything except the original wheel.
Or you could build a chassis. Or you could build a chassis from scratch.
No, we're just trying to replace the wheels, right?
What if
you could build the wheels from scratch too? Just well, yeah, you got a lathe, you can do it. It's easy enough. I've done it.
Have Carrera gone to the standard 5mm wide central rib?
Carrera, no. The Carreras are all different.
They're all different.
The width of the center rib is different. The height of the center rib is different from one car to the next. They're all over the place still.
Yep, it's crazy.
So he could do a lot worse then than choose a tire, find the correct wheel that's the right diameter, and with a 5mm center rib.
Yeah.
Yeah, the center rib seems to be the problem. I have some tires and stuff, and a lot of them fit the outer diameter and everything.
Yeah.
And it's the right height, but the problem is the center rib is usually not tall enough, so it gets to be concaved.
Yes.
So then you got to figure out how to either build that up, because you're not going to be able to true that tire down.
Double-sided
far.
tape would work there, perhaps.
Yeah.
Something with a bit of thickness, one wrap, or
You
or an
find that
elastic.
especially on air rims. If your tires don't fit properly on air rims and you've got that air gap, the tires will sink into
they
the air
sink.
gap and leave you running on just two ribs. Now there are some fixes. You can run a foam ring inside the air gap, and you can kind of figure it out and make it work. But you know, it's welcome to 132 slot car. When I started this, I naively believed that you would have a single chassis and you would put a different body on it for every different class of racing. It makes sense to me. That's just not what we do. It's not. All different classes, different cars, different manufacturers with all different sizes, where 332 doesn't mean 332, and you learn it. Eventually you kind of, and these are great skills to have, because you get all this stuff, and it's nice to have those things under your belt. You know, it's nice to understand those things and understand what the Italians are doing and the Spanish are doing, and you know, and it's great. I mean, I love the challenge. It drives me crazy sometimes, but it's fun.
Well, that's what I'm going to do with this Cheetah. I'm going to just stick with this car, and I'm going to fix what I got to fix, and I'm going to learn along the way.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I
the way
have
to
that
do it.
much more knowledge.
One thing you must watch with the Cheetah, like a lot of the Carrera cars, is the wheel is two pieces, and if they're not glued together, then they're basically just held together by the tire that goes over the top of them.
Really? I didn't even.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
looking at mine right now. They are 365 or 9 millimeters wide. The small diameter of the wheel, the bead seat is 13.7.
Right.
Over the top is 15.7, I think.
Yeah.
So it's 1 millimeter high. Yeah. So it's 1 millimeter high. And unfortunately, it looks like I actually machined these wheels at some point to fit the set of tires that I had, because I've got a 3 millimeter center flange width, and I think they were originally 4, because I put a set of Indy Grip 1304s on the back of my car, and so I had them here, and they were about the right diameter. So I machined the wheels down.
So basically what your guys are telling me is that I'm just going to have to take my best shot at ordering a wheel, a set of wheels and a set of tires to match those wheels, and then take it from there.
Yeah, the problem is going to be finding a tire that's big enough, right? Because it's a really big fat tire.
It's a tall tire, yeah.
It's a tall tire on a small rim.
Yeah.
Super Tires makes them for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes
all
them for the Carrera car.
Yep.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
I've got-
that would be for the Carrera rim. Now you got to find
Right.
something. Now you got
I
to
need
find
a
a
different
rim
rim.
that fits that. And I think
Yeah, I've
that
got two Cheetahs with Super Tires on them. Just ordered from them.
With stock rims?
with stock
Yes.
rims, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
if you wanted to use that, tire on an aftermarket rim, what are you going to find?
Right.
Yeah, we trued those wheels as best we could, but they are what they are, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the other way to approach this, and this is the way I approach it, I love to race cars that are difficult to do. And one of the things I love is monogram bodies. They do a great Shelby Cobra, and they do a great Jaguar Streamliner. But the chassis and everything about those cars is horrible. I mean, they did a lovely job of it. Everything else about those cars is horrible, including the wheels. And they are knurled push-on things. instead of saying, I want to preserve the wheels and axles and all the other stuff, strip it all out and then get the wheels and, you know, put a 3D chassis underneath the body, make it look right, and then take those authentic looking wheels and cut them down to make inserts out of them.
Inserts,
And
yeah.
then-
Yeah.
And then you can use NSR wheels or slotted wheels. You have the right axle, you can use roller bearings, you have the right pod that you want, whether it's NSR, slotted, or whatever your preference is. But then you have that authentic look that you can't get. You can't get an insert from NSR that looks like a Shelby Cobra. You have to use the wheels that come with the monogram. And so instead of trying to make those things, the wheels fit the axles fit the wheels fit the tires, dump all of that stuff, go for a proper retrofit, and then cut down the wheels, make inserts in it. It's great. You will love the results.
If you want an easy way around this, Neil, you can go to Slot Car Corner.
Yes.
And they make some insert wheels. The dimensions that Dennis gave out, it's any 15 mil wheel for a 30-second car is going to be fine. They also
I actually have those, Chris.
Which?
The
insert wheel.
Slot Car Corner. I have the insert aluminum wheels that take inserts.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do make different widths. So if you got like a 15/9,
they make a 15/10 and a 15/8. I don't know that they make a 9, but
yeah,
I think I have an 8.5 by
and then
15.
And then
that'll work.
they also make, they've got Krager 5-spoke inserts, which are basically what you've got on the Cheetah right now. And they can set you up with a set of tires. All you'll need to do is tell them what overall outside diameter of the tire you need to do. So it's really not that difficult.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
22.7.
You can start from scratch and build a whole new chassis, but that's not what, like, you know, it's really not that tough to figure out what you need to do here. I've done a bunch of them, and it's really not that. And the wheels will look gorgeous.
Okay, I'll do that.
But you'll get to the chassis building, Neil, no problem.
Yeah, one step at a time. I mean, these wheels and the axle and the pinion gear and the gear. I mean, it's all throwing me for a loop already, and I haven't even gotten to building a chassis. So I got a ways to go yet.
Don't even start on pinions and their measurements and crowns and their measurements and what different manufacturers are doing with that. I mean, you will tear your hair out. There's nothing the same about anything.
I'm just looking to make the things run smooth and the way they should. That's all. I'll be happy. I don't do any racing.
And you know what? You're absolutely right. A great way to make an out-of-the-box car run almost 100% better is by putting proper aluminum wheels and true tires on it, and it'll run that much better.
Yep.
John?
Yes.
John, this is the thing. You know, we're doing this little project where we're sending the car around the world to make Greg's little project. I think where that will end up with all of us getting the hump and saying, we are not happy with what the slot car manufacturers are giving us. We want to make something. It may be a little cottage thing, but I feel like we're all guys that want a bit more quality in our hobby, right? A bit more quality. Yeah. We're not getting that. We're not getting that.
And not only that, but to your point about interchangeability as well, right?
Yeah, but that's never going to happen.
That'll never happen.
It's not. It's never going to happen.
Well, there's.
I mean, it would be great.
Okay, there goes my blind optimism yet again. I'm sorry.
Never going to happen. No. Never going to happen. The best thing we could do, you know, is build a quality car that is of a good sort of standard build with a lot of interchangeable parts. But you would have to choose dimensions from one or the other slot car manufacturers. And in the current market, it does seem that slotted seem to be the one that people are choosing. sideways retrofit slotted pods. Maurizio has been very, very good at getting other manufacturers on board, you know.
Well, here we go. Here's Chris's build of that's a Strombacher body, is it not, Chris?
Yeah, but it is. But I mean, those are clones of the slot car corner wheels with Krager 5 spokes in them. So easy enough to do.
And they're painted though on the inside, right?
Yes, I always paint the back or the flat spot of the wheel either dark gray or something, and then the inserts themselves are resin. You can paint them black, gray, green, blue, whatever color you want, and you're all done. It's easy.
Looks nice.
Makes them look
always
deep
lo-
dish
I
and
always
chrome
love the
lips,
Cheetah.
doesn't it?
Sorry?
Go ahead, Neil.
No, go ahead, Wayne. I'm sorry.
I was saying it makes them look deep dish and chrome lipped.
It
Which
does.
is sort of what they look like.
Yeah, I mean, aluminum wheels kind of look like aluminum wheels. No?
They're so much better than plastic for sure.
Absolutely. And again, your car will run so much better.
Oh yeah.
Plastic wheels are for the toy market. They really have no place on the rear wheels of a slot car. On the front wheels, you can make an argument. On the rear wheels, where the drive and the power through transmission, plastic wheels have no place. They really don't. And I am quite surprised that premier brands like Polycar, which is related to Slotted, use plastic wheels in their standard kit. I am really quite surprised because they should. But hey, Maurizio and the guys, they make their choices of what the market does.
Hey, as Greg would say,
and how it works.
They're toys.
And that's for them to do.
Well, that's true, but it also gives you something to upgrade, right? I mean, that's the other aspect too. I mean, that's part of the hobby.
Exactly.
You know.
Well,
the radio control guys worked that one out a long time ago.
Yeah.
You sell something basic and you sell $1 million worth of hop-ups for it.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a term for that, Dennis. We called it the picnic strategy of marketing, where you make the potatoes cheap and you make the sour cream and chives really expensive.
Oh, you guys. John, there's only one part about your character I don't like, this marketing thing you do all the time. It drives me crazy. Marketing people, hate it. By the way, guys, I should introduce you to my better half. She's just here. She's just driving. Oh.
Hi.
Oh, no, I lost it.
Oh. Okay, Alan, you just lost your signal, right? You didn't hit anything.
Oh.
There you go.
No.
There we go.
Never mind. Say hello to the guys.
Hi. Hello.
My better half.
Hello. There you go.
All right.
I drive for the day. I miss it on a basis, including this.
I did want to say that to Neil that I really enjoyed you giving the quick tour like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I've always been sucking up ideas because I'm in the process, and my process keeps getting molded into something different. Create my own little hobby room because I'm doing a build on, and every time I see something, and it's just adding the little creative juices and things like that. So
okay, Duan, now come on, be honest. You're going to put a driving sim around your slot car track now, right?
But you know, I am. You know, I saw something on. I just joined a new group this week, and I introduced myself and things like that, and the fact that I'm in Las Vegas and that I'm doing this big build out and everything. And I want to kind of get involved in some groups or some clubs, and potentially have a club be one of the stops that the clubs can make out here. And so I'm very interested in doing that. Right now I have a little test track, and I posted that on the little on the new group that I joined, showing them, you know, where I'm at on testing the proof of concept, just like that, on what I'm doing.
May I just help you in some way? I can show you a driving sim rig that anyone's partner will let them have in their living room. Are you interested in seeing it?
Well, I currently have my slot car track in my living room. So
Well, yeah, but that's okay. That's perfect. See, this will go along with it. You want to see it? I can show it to you. I'll share screen if you want. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share this. This is the original sort of setup that my daughter and I would have.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh wait. Okay, so we're doing Grand Prix Legends. So we're racing Formula One 1967. And she's kicking my butt a little bit. She's in a Lotus 49. I'm in an Eagle. And as you can see, I'm going off track. But that's enough for another day.
Yeah, I saw a lot of dirt there.
What's that?
I saw a lot of dirt and grass.
Oh, right there. Oh yeah, man. I was like, you know what? The game's really good because when you go off track and you tumble, it goes like dark, which means you're gone.
You're done.
You're gone. You're dead. Yeah, that's it. So I'd made something that I call the Ottoman, and really, and again, it's based on a formula car. Basically, it's a box, right? So there's here it is. And my formula seat wouldn't fit in because it was too big, so I used a go-kart seat. And the cool thing is, so here we are as we're, the cat's helping, of course. There's as you can see, there's a stand for the screen, and this is where you would put your wheel.
Right.
Right. So here we go. We'll just keep going here as we go. And of course, it's upholstered. So I upholstered it.
Nice.
Yeah. And then that's what it looks like when it's an ottoman. You can put things in it. But when you take the top off, there you go.
Wow.
And then it's set up with another stand over there. So I would strongly, and this is my wife said, oh, it's great. So when I'm not using it, there's blankets and whatever else in there, as long as, and the other stuff. And there you go from that.
Multi-use. Great.
Yeah, that's why I use mine right now. I'm sitting in my simulator talking to you guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right. The only thing is,
I would never get away with that. No way would I ever get away with that. No way.
Yeah, you're only saying that because you are in close proximity of someone.
Exactly.
No slot car track at home. No slot car track at home. No simulators. No nothing. I get my little a workbench. That's what I get. That's my little toy room, right?
Okay, Dwan, let's see it. Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Is it wait, what am I sharing? Is that
neon?
Yeah, it says it looks like is it a video of your game room?
It is.
Okay, let's see it. Yeah. Here we go. Oh man.
That's a 4-lane.
4-lane
Revell
track.
Yeah.
Perfect.
How can you tell us Revell?
Let's look at it.
We all know. We all know.
Color, the joints.
If it was a sandy color, it would have been monogram.
Correct.
It's the color, right?
It's the color and the way the joints fit, and the fact that he's told us before that it's all
exactly.
Revell.
Oh, you have to tell them that. You are so honest. You need some larceny in your soul, Mr. Sampson.
Perfect. Don't ever change that track.
Oh, that is so nice. Wow.
That's the little one, right? That's not the Batman track yet.
Not yet, no. But it's
this is my test track.
That's the test track. That's cool.
Now, Dewan, are those 24th scale cars on there?
Those are 132s, but I have half my inventory is 124.
Wow.
It's the only plastic track that I would consider these days.
Yeah, and I have 2 tables set up right there. I have a total of about 6 tables ready.
Yep.
Man, that's awesome.
That's nice.
Just don't tell Burt Ward because he'll want to come over and he'll eat you out of house and home.
Well, that's my living room right now. So you talk about putting something else in there. Yeah, that's my living room. And
awesome.
The backside of it is an 84-inch screen running TrackMate.
Oh, yeah.
But and the driver stations, I made that so I can easily just move them to wherever I put my final layout and everything in place and stuff like that. So this is about 1/5 of what the final layout will be. This is only 40.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, it looks like just like one part of the Wayne Manor track.
Yeah, I was just doing some of the turns and things like that, just practice, make sure I get that. And then perfecting a couple things. I got this little tool that goes in underneath the track to tighten up the joints. And then I purchased so much stuff. One of the Revell kits actually, I guess I can stop sharing this. So one of the Revell kits actually have clips that I had never seen before. It was a Montgomery Ward Revell kit that you can put under the track to permanently keep the piece. Well, it says permanent, but you can obviously take it apart. But it keeps the piece, because that's one of the drawbacks, especially when you have a suspended environment like that. As you traverse the track and everything is gonna kind of get loose in different spots and pieces and stuff like that. And then I came up with a good way of really cleaning the track. I think my track comes out.
I loved your video on your cleaning method. It's awesome.
Yeah, it turns out better than it comes out of the factory. So I'm impressed with that. And then I've used the inox and stuff like that. So the conductivity is exceptionally well in it. And so
inox is great stuff.
Yeah.
And let's just get something absolutely crystal clear here, folks. You can. There's no such thing as too much stuff, please.
Well, I know that I went way overboard. I think I started with well, this part of this track actually is from when I was 10 years old. So I was able to, save it from my.
Well, the other thing too, Dewan, by the color, it looks like it's all Revell and not Riggin.
Yes, all Revell, and I have probably I think I acquired over 2,000 Revell pieces of track. Which, like I said, is overboard. But and there was one piece there's only two pieces that I'm actually, well, one piece that I'm completely missing, and I've just fabricated those. That's the inside. They have the 14-inch half-inch curves, and it's an inside apron. Because I'm around 124, so I have aprons around 100% of the track. And that's the only piece that was missing. I don't know if you guys saw that little niche that was missing, but I'll be able to fabricate those, but I would like the originals. And I'm also going to make it so that it has the original power terminal that I have all the original
with the plugins that they had, right?
Yes, I have the original. I have the old Revell controllers, and I have the original cars, all the original cars that they've used in that Batman scene. I have those in pristine condition.
Okay, wait a minute. Do you have one of these there? Hang on.
Oh, I don't have a controller. I know you're gonna show me that the little.
Yeah.
I had an option of buying one of those. I just didn't, because those have the plug-in bases, and I don't have to change my own.
Well, the Revell made an adapter that would plug in with the 3 prongs. Well, let me tell you something. When you get your track up, I'll donate 2. I got way too many of those.
Somebody has it on eBay right now for $129.
No.
But guys, if you're going to replicate the Batman thing out of the, surely you should have controllers that don't move, because that's how.
You're right. But I have all the cars, and I'm going to use a terminal track, and I have the power and everything, so I can switch from my regular road racing with the variable power to really recreating the exact conditions that they ran their thing under. So that's my intention.
Yes, every time you look at that video, that's what I see is
I know, they just wander around
frozen thumbs, right?
Next time I see it, I won't be able to unsee it. Thanks, Dennis.
The other one to watch too that is really unrealistic is when they had the Revell track in Redline 7000.
I saw that.
Right, because everybody's going, yeah, and who's driving?
Yeah.
Really?
So anyway, that was my tidbit.
Well, there you go. No, but I'm serious. I can guarantee you won't like them.
That's why I didn't spend a fortune to get something I'm not trying to create a museum here. They already have that in LA. So I just want something that's a little more functional and then kind of get some nostalgia.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's kind of like dating. You got to know what bad is to appreciate good.
Yeah. Well, I know what bad is. I've had that.
What do you got for us, Big Dan?
Carrera axle set.
Yeah. What I was going to put the point here is sometimes until you take the tyres off Carrera wheels, you're never quite sure what you're going to get. This is for the Chevy Monza. Look at those knobbly bits on it. It looks like the tread pattern of a Massey Ferguson tractor or something like that.
I think that's probably because doing Carrera, they would turn it into a Panzer of some sort, perhaps, no?
Well, that
That's just the way that they did that molding, but it makes
Yeah.
the car rumble on the track.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it
that would
can-
be
and it-
horrible.
Yeah, and it can vary between the various models too. I mean, some of them have got, look like birds' feet. They're off at an angle, and even one of the early Rebel monogram cars, I think it was the McLaren M6B. It had the weirdest wheels on it when you took the tires off. Until Carrera came up with this, of course. So,
No, but that's a good point, Big Dan, because even when Monogram reissued the King, the King Cobra, those wheels were in, as Dennis said, they were in two halves.
Yeah.
They did. The guy in the English Slot magazine did a review of the Con Monza about 5 issues back, and what he actually did to get replacement wheels on, he just put these in his tire trailer and took them down a bit so he didn't have this weird molding to contend with. Anyway, I'll unshare that. So,
wow, I'd never seen that. Gee whiz.
I'd say just get rid of them.
Yeah, it's a good solution. Yeah.
That was probably what I took a long way around to tell you quickly.
Oh, Brian, what? Oh, did you get? What do you got there, Brian?
Well, first off, just for the record, that's a messy workbench. So,
No, not messy. That's a proper workbench.
A proper workbench, yeah.
well, I've got a few 3D bodies I've been working on here. And the way this started is with the 308 Proxy. I had built the chassis for it. And I had some issues with the 308 body fitting with the parts I had on hand. I cannot squeeze these tires. This is off of another slot at McLaren, just like this. Could not quite get this under that 308 body with what I had on hand. I got to get some hubless wheels and stuff. So the 308's kind of on hold. So I started doing some design for the chassis. And what I wanted to do was something that was simple to print. Think thingy. This is kind of the theme I was going with here. And this was the first one I came up with, kind of very simple shape. But the cockpit ended up being a bit of a problem for me. I had a hard time getting a driver figure in there that looked good to me. So I decided to take it a little different route, and I went this way. So kind of McLaren inspired, I don't know, what would you say? Can-Am meets Group C combined. Again, I said think thingy here. So this was the first one I did.
Brian, if I can interrupt, that looks more like the TI-22.
Okay, whatever. Whatever that is, I'll take your word for it. So that was the first approach. Now, again, the idea here was simple to print, simple to sand, simple to paint. And the stacks cause a little bit of minor issue there. And I didn't spend a lot of time on this. So then I went to the next version, again, trying to simplify things and added a few more details. So you can see I lowered the nose a little bit here, the scoop. I thought that looked a little much. I added some venting, both on the top of the fender, and I don't know how well you can see that there. And I went with a scoop on the back as opposed to the pipes. And instead of molded in vents, again, something that you have to deal with when you're sanding, I went with cut in vents. So just something I've been kind of toying with. I had a little issue with this one when I printed it. I broke it when I was trying to take the supports off. But
and which orientation are you printing those, Brian?
they print basically like this, just slightly cocked. These are resin printed, about a 5-degree angle. And that's pretty much what they look like. They fit the chassis just fine. Size-wise, you can see they're about the same as the McLaren. Actually, overall length, it's a little shorter if you count the spoiler. width is the same, except the McLaren gets a little skinnier at the nose.
Brian, at the back where you have the vents, could you do a NACA duct? Would that make things simpler?
I thought about maybe doing a couple of those on the top, or maybe on the top of the scoop. Again, it's just a basic idea. And you can see I notched the sides on this. Now these were all drawn up in Tinkercad, so I really don't have any CAD skills per se. This is built up of about 24 pieces that have to be combined. But again, I just wanted something simple that would print easy. The original design I did, and I'm still working with, and it should fit the same chassis once I change the mounts. Looks like this. This was a little more Alpha 333 inspired, if you will. But again, open cockpit. It's got the place for the, the engine, things of that nature. So just some stuff I've been toying with.
Looks a bit like that Mirage PRM.
Was this?
Yeah.
Finally sprung for this. My initial impression when I opened the box was utter shock, since there were 2 screws loose, or actually completely out of the controller. They were in the box, but they were completely out of the controller. Didn't look used. I mean, it didn't seem to be a spot on it. I put the screws in, and my basic feeling on this thing is it's cheating.
How so? How so?
Because it works too well.
What is it? What
is that is the SCP-2 from Slotted.
Oh, okay.
So, it's a great controller. But like I said, after going from, basic Professor Motor 35 ohms and Parma 25 ohms, it pretty much feels like cheating.
Is that because you found a lot of lap time from the same cars, Brian?
I don't know. It seems to me you're just letting the controller do the work instead of your finger in some cases. But, again, for meant to shut that off. I see why people like them. I like it, certainly. But now I'm going to have to buy a second pair because my son will have a built-in excuse.
Yeah.
So you only bought the one initially then?
Yeah. I just bought the one. Kind of bought it under the radar, Figured the wife wouldn't notice. $129, actually about 140 versus, almost 300.
Wow. Well, there is that thing called a PO box.
Don't have one. Well, that's all I got.
What do you make of the hand feel of the thing and the way that the trigger moves, Brian? Is it alien because you don't get that scraping feeling?
Actually, no, it didn't really bother me, but I also come from an RC background. So I ran RC cars for years where you don't have that scrapey feeling. So that really didn't take any getting used to. It fits my hand pretty well. I've got short, pudgy little fingers and fat little hands, and I like the controller. And it is amazing the amount of settings on it. Depending on the car, it's basically you configure the controller to the car. So it's brilliant. It was good advice from Chris Walker. Again, I appreciate it for the suggestion.
Well, I can disclose that one of those has landed in my lap this very day. It's not like I've never used one before, because I have, but I've always borrowed them. And there is an upcoming endurance race in about a week and a half, and I'm attending that. And I have a controller of the same type to take along, and to get to spend a little time with it is something that I've never done before. I've only ever picked it up and driven with it. But and the manual, wow, you need to read that 2 or 3 times, don't you, really?
Yeah, but it is pretty thorough. I mean, I kind of liked where they started you out by saying, adjust this, this, and this, and go play with it for a little while, and then come back and read the rest of the manual. So I think once you play with the adjustments, now I'm running in the straight linear mode. I haven't been messing with the curves. To me, it depends. If the car has good brakes to begin with, I do like the I forget what they call the feature on it, where it's not full
Curve
brake
brake.
all the time. Right. It's instead of being all the brake all the time, it basically just taps the brakes is the best way to describe it. And all you do is dial in how long it taps the brakes for. If your car has great brakes, that's a nice feature. If you're running Carreras that don't have great brakes, I don't tend to use it. I like it. I think once you play with it just a little bit, Wayne, you'll get very comfortable with it very fast.
Well, it's a different application for different tracks, because the only time I've used one was on a huge circuit, which is the Le Mans 24-hour circuit. And the gear ratios that are applied to the cars for that purpose mean that the braking is very, very low naturally. So you turn it all the way up and leave it all the way up. The only decision that seemed to be made to need to be made on that occasion, whether it was full decaying brake or full fixed brake, but it was always full brake. And I look forward to getting the opportunity to use it on some smaller tracks and with different motors, and actually playing with some of the settings.
Yeah, I find the one setting I don't use too much is the max power, where basically.
No, you always want that one on 12, don't you?
I usually keep it close to it because I just find I like it. I don't know. It makes the trigger too soft for me, if you will, the power delivery too soft between 0 and 99. I'd rather have it all there and just train my hand to use it when I need it rather than dial it out.
Yeah. Most of my cars have the weaker motors in. I don't think I've got anything with above about 21,500 RPM motors. And the tracks I go to are either 12 volt or 12.5. And in every circumstance, with all the cars that I used, it's given me everything. I've never had a need to choke down, if you like. Choke. Get choked.
Brian, what voltage? Oh, sorry, I was going to say, Brian, what voltage is your track?
I typically run it at about 12. Some of the Carreras I run as high as 13.
Sorry, Alan, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, I was struggling with the tech, as I'm floating about. What I heard was the comment about having a good controller is like cheating. What I would say is that the first fish that crawled out of the ocean and kind of grew pads, that was cheating, right? Guys that first designed bicycles, instead of being able to walk everywhere, having to walk everywhere, that was cheating. Guys that designed motor cars, that was properly cheating. I mean, life is about making the most of the technology. And controllers like the SCP2, they tools to your toolbox, and how a slot car can be controlled around a track. Yes, it's an advantage, but it's an advantage anybody can have. It's not a private advantage. It's not a secret advantage.
Can I stop you there for a second?
If you think it's better, go buy one.
The remark was meant the remark was meant a little more tongue in cheek than you're actually taking it. So
I know, but I've had that same comment made to me by several.
Personally, I think it's incredibly ironic that we're talking about technology while he's buffering.
Exactly.
And especially delay box built into the controller.
Right.
And he's around London. If the mobile network's that good around there, imagine what it's like in deepest, darkest Wales.
Well, they'd be coal power, wouldn't they, Wayne?
Well,
powered
I understand that the street has running water all of a sudden.
Oh, well.
I thought Alan was in Germany. If it's in Germany, it should be perfect.
No, it's not. We're not in Germany. I mean,
oh.
Did I said something on a slot forum the other week about someone said I'm on time all the time, or I'm on it all the time. But hey, Germany and Switzerland make our timekeeping look really poor. That's how it is. We're quite a lazy nation when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Alan, I wasn't quite sure whether your bandwidth was the problem or whether that beer was starting to kick in.
Some of both, I think. Some of both. There's nothing wrong with a bit.
Well,
Belgian beer, can't go wrong with that.
well, there you go, Dan, because we haven't seen the number that he's had. We've only seen a can.
Yeah.
Did Alan,
the wreckage
did
is-
Alan explain he's not driving the car? He's on the wrong. He's on
The
the wrong
wreckage is on the
seat,
back seat, you know.
but he's not
I
driving.
find it.
No,
Yeah,
no, Jeremy,
that's-
he's not driving. He's not driving. Thank goodness. No.
Yeah, I explained it earlier, right? We're an old world nation. We're an old world nation. On the thing about controllers, though, I mean, there's a lot of talk, and I see a lot of people being very regressive about controller technology. If you're not using a resistor without any control at all, no variable brakes, no control at all, just a resistor, then you're not a real slot car racer. And I am absolutely against that. The better the control, the better I've got. That's always going to be my approach. The better I can approach it, the more dexterity I can put to the car from my fingers. I'm always going to be in favor of that.
Agreed.
The difference between good stuff and home set stuff is quite marked nowadays, isn't it? It's quite embarrassing when you turn up at a show or something like that, and someone's got a gazebo set up with come and have a go, and you do so, and the kit doesn't work properly, or it's in poor order, and it's
Wayne, I agree with you and Alan. It's kind of like the difference between driving an SUV and a sports car. I mean,
yeah,
one's
yeah.
a heck of a lot more fun, and the other is to take the kids somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's really, when it's good, it's really, really good. But when it's bad,
when we had that open day on Father's Day at Electric Dreams, a couple of 3 weeks back or whatever it was, I think I showed you a photograph under a tent outside. We had a Carrera digital oval that was being run by some folk who take this thing around. It's a portable setup, and they have cars, and the cars that they were using were Carrera cars mostly, because it was Carrera digital, but the tires were that old and everything was that old that the cars just slid everywhere. I mean, the fact that they had magnets in them made no difference to the traction whatsoever. And I really don't understand how they could generate a positive view of the hobby or of even the concept of driving a car around a slot car track when the cars are like that. But I guess they got enough people to drive, but it was crazy.
That's detrimental.
Anyway, I've got a show and tell.
Go for it, please.
Based on what was going on with Greg earlier on. There you go.
that should have the word Delta somewhere in the description.
Yes.
That's what are you up to? Are you going to focus on me, John?
Yes, you're pinned. So please proceed. Yes.
Okay, I'm not seeing it, so that's why I was wondering.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, I pinned you, and it's your show, Dennis.
Okay, so that's the last of the 4 or 5 HO scale cars that I've been building for a customer, and this particular one goes underneath a Lexan vacuum formed IndyCar shell of some sort, and so that's why it has the shape of the pans. But what I did on this one, because the motors are so small now, that when you put the motor in at level with the rear axle, there's a massive amount of space underneath it. So what I did on this one is I actually put a little center pan underneath the middle, and I hooked it into the side pan, so that whole piece has a little bit of rattle and wiggle to it, and the body will mount on that. So hopefully it's going to work quite well. I don't know yet. I just finished it last night.
Good for you. Looks great, Dennis.
Why
Yeah, it
are
looks
you in
pretty good.
Wisconsin? You should be in Wisconsin with that thing.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, so I built 5 for the guy, and I think that that's enough. These things they're just too small, man, and they take so much work.
Yeah.
I could build I can build 2 1/24 scale retro cars in the time it takes me to build 1 HO scale car.
Dennis, have you got any? Is there any on any of the forums? Have you got that build, those little chassis?
No, I haven't been putting it anywhere yet, Lloyd.
Because I've just started trying to do something very similar to myself in 143rd, and I'd just like to see how you did it. That was all.
All right, okay, I could do that. Or else, drop me your email. I'll send you some photos.
I'll do that. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Dennis, could those motors be used in 143rd, you think? Yeah.
These ones, yeah, probably. They're absolutely unbelievably small. The whole motor, apart from the shaft, is just over half an inch long and just over 3/8 of an inch diameter. Right? Like 10 millimeter diameter and 13 millimeters long and about 8 millimeters high. So they're tiny, tiny, tiny. Have a 1 millimeter.
It must have a very small
shaft.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, yeah, it must have a very small pinion. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 millimeter shaft, and so they have these little pre-molded press-on pinions that they're making for them now.
If I'm not mistaken, that motor is way, way smaller than even an HO motor is.
Yeah, than what we've been used to up till now in HO. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculously fast little motors too.
Yeah,
A lot of the
crazy. All of the ones that I've done so far on instruction from the customer have a 10 ohm resistor,
Oh, yeah.
10 or a 1. I think it's a 10 ohm resistor in line as well, just to drop the power a little. So yeah, they rev like crazy. They've got good magnets. I think there's probably some Neos inside there, because when you turn it over, you could feel the click, 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 click as you turn it over. Yeah. So
yeah.
They're crazy.
Did the motor come from the client?
Yeah. Well, they're available from a guy there's a store in Wisconsin called Lucky Bob's, who does a lot of HO scale stuff, and you buy them from there. They're $10 a piece for those motors.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
If you're getting those, Lloyd, make sure they've got 1 mil pinions as well, so you should get yourself some pinions.
Yeah, a lot of our motors have only got 1 mil shafts, so we're used to dealing with that.
Okay. These are a little quicker than you might normally use in your cars.
So yeah, so that's what I'm up to. Just got to
don't
finish
pretend
off.
you want away on a proxy, Lloyd.
Yeah, when you told Garth about this, he's trying to make his 143rds go faster and faster.
And is this for rally, Lloyd, or for open tracks, or?
Oh, that would be open tracks. That would be. You don't need that sort of speed on rally.
Not unless you want to just spin your wheels everywhere, right? Cool. Well, we got a wee bit more time. Anybody else have anything else that they'd like to show? Anybody?
Just a quick, Dennis, are those press-on silicones on those, or are those silicone coated sponge?
No, 1 or 2 of them, the early ones that I built had silly sponge on them. The rest of them, it's just a slip-on rubber tire. I don't know. He just sent me a bunch of plastic HO cards and said, strip the parts off. So right now, that's what they've got. But I would think that as soon as he starts trying to use these, he's going to want to put silicones on them, because I think they'll be too fast otherwise.
Yeah.
Dennis, how have you managed to deal with the pickup shoes and the brass chassis? Are you not in danger of short circuits? So what have you done to mitigate that?
All right. So up the front of the car, right up at the front, and I don't know if you could see that, where the
a little higher, Dennis, a little higher towards your face, and yep, perfect. Thank you. Sorry.
All right. So you're looking at the underneath now.
Yeah.
That front piece, about the 1/4 of an inch wide, right across the width of the front there, is a piece of printed circuit board, right?
Uh-huh.
And on the top side, I have separated the left and right side and soldered on a piece of a brake clip that holds those little phosphor bronze pickup shoes. And in the center, I have an 8mm long M2 grub screw in a nut that I turned the threads off to make the pin. And then on the bottom, eventually that little piece of brass that holds everything together there, I'll put a piece of clear tape on that so that there's no chance of shorting.
Got you. A little piece of fiberglass board. Excellent.
Yeah, a little piece of fiberglass board at the front.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's why I went to 132nd. They were too small to work
Oh
on.
God, they're crazy. And I'd rather, 132nd sometimes are bad. Just finished building a 124th scale car too, which is for myself. It's a angle winder, similar kind of chassis with that little the center spines, right? The tuning forks, as we used to call them, which mean that the car has plenty of flexibility, but it doesn't bend this way. It can flex left to right, but it doesn't bend in the middle. Doesn't sag. So yeah, that one's brand new to be used tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Friday. We've got a big retro weekend coming up here in Southern California. We run Friday. We run those angle winder GT cars, and then and Formula Ones, and Saturday we run Can-Ams, and Sunday we run F1s again. So we've got a lot of racing coming up.
Can I ask a technical question about the commercial track cars that you use? What kind of ground clearances do we aim to go for when you're setting one of those up?
You have to go by whatever the particular organization's rules are. The retro cars, the scratch built cars that we run, the rules require 50 thousandths of an inch under the rear of the car, and 15 thousandths under the most forward piece of the front of the car. So the car actually has I guess what Formula One would call a high rake design, where it's higher at the rear than the front.
So you're going to help out the metric guy amongst, me.
All right, well, 15 thousandths is 0.4 of a millimeter, and 50 thousandths is 1.27.
1.27 millimeters.
At the back, yeah. And most of that is because of the sponge tires and the wear on the tires.
I was about to mention the sponge tires will compress in the bank turns and in the high corners, won't they?
Correct. Yeah. So when you're running on flat tracks that are not banked, then very often the class rules allow less clearance under the back, and a lot of those, like the steel cars that we run, like the British Slot Car Racing Association run and Istria run and others, there you start at 0.8 millimeters, 32 thousandths. We have Greg back.
Greg is back. Hey, how was lunch?
The martinis are still working there, so
I was gonna say, yeah, he's happy. He's
just got this big smile. Is just as well you have ears, so your head would look like a hamburger right now.
I'm still learning how to use this on a tablet. It's not the same as on a PC, so
yeah,
it's easier just a thumbs up when you guys are saying things.
That's a big smile.
I smile when people. I'm happy. I just ate. I'm back at the slot car thing. Everything. The world is good.
Life is good. Yep.
Life is good. Yeah.
You missed what I was showing, Greg.
I'll watch it later.
Oh, it's just probably something similar to what the guys are racing there.
Yeah, we were wondering if anyone was racing anything like that at your HO meet.
Scratch built, basically.
I'd have to see it again. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think if they're running freight cars, they're not scratch built. They're
Plastic chassis. Yeah.
yeah, there's freight cars. I mean, we're basically racing freight cars, except not freight rules.
Yeah.
So the car setup is more or less the same, apparently, but the racing itself, the race format is different. Yeah. Yeah, and my camera is there, apparently. There it is. I'm looking at the screen, my camera's over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's cool. So do they have like a vintage class? Like where they have like the tiny little Tyco tires, or is it all sort of modern stuff on the HO stuff?
Dude, you're asking the wrong person.
No, I think the chassis are ancient, aren't they? The chassis are 70.
They're calling them whiz jets.
T-Jets and Whiz-Jet, like all basically clones of the original T-Jets, which have been around for forever.
Yeah, to my untrained eyes, they look just like a T. In fact, I brought a T-Jet, and the chassis looks the same. Mine does not perform like theirs does, but you know, to my untrained eye, they are very, very similar. Yeah.
And if you still have original T-Jet chassis in good shape, they're worth gold.
I'll let one of these guys take a look at it, but I'm not going to hold out any hope.
No. I mean, it's they were just so much more precise than the new stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so by the new stuff, you mean the new original T-Jet rather than the aftermarket?
Yeah, the Johnny Lightnings and stuff like that.
Mind if I look over your shoulder? Oh, you're working on your fingers, not your cars.
What do you want to look at?
I'm gonna show off a car here. You want to show off your car?
Oh, where's my it's just a practice car. Those are his cars.
Oh, okay.
This isn't even my car.
You want to show off your cars to these guys? I don't know what I'm looking at.
Well, one looks like a Corvette.
Use as an example of what we're racing here?
These are right here.
Okay, so how would you describe them to people watching? Like I was saying, is see, to me, that car would probably be like a rocket to me, but to you it's slow.
Right.
Why is it slow?
Because I race these cars. I race something like this is called a drop in Neo.
Oh, like magnet.
You get when you drive them, Greg, that they're like rocket ship.
These are slow compared to the ones they normally drive.
Gotcha. So he's saying
totally different. There's no magnets in them.
So he prefers magnet racing.
Not really.
Okay, so
For racing, period.
These are the magnet cars. So you can see how much different.
these are the three different classes.
And then we race.
See, they got all kinds of magnets.
Yeah, then we race.
Well,
we
that
race
super
hard
stock spec racer and this
Custom hard bodies.
There you go.
We race crash and burn too. On that one track I showed you earlier. Yeah, so we raced 5 laps, crash and burn.
Yeah, that's super stock spec racer and CMPM.
So super stock, spec racer, and CMPM. What
Right.
does CMPM mean?
Level 10. There's all level 10.
Compression.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And like a
Basically the same.
1.5 foam arm.
Right.
So another super fast rocket ship.
Yeah, with these little sticks, you go around the corner, you know, fast. Those other cars.
Yeah,
So like I said, you're asking the wrong guy, and these guys aren't. They're not ready to give interviews.
So Greg, what was it like for you when you drove one? Did you put it down and think, by God, these are like lightning?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I got what I expected, which is high
It's like
performance.
driving a non-mag AFX car. If you have an old non-mag AFX car, that's exactly what these are like.
Yeah, but out of the box, you would race a non-mag AFX car out of the box and compare it to those.
Well.
Okay,
the way they
that's what I
handle- the way they handle it, yeah, probably the speed even too, I would imagine. These probably handle a lot better than right out of the box, but.
I should find some slip-ons that'll fit on my cars and see how they actually go around the track is what it is.
What do you got? Oh. And how is that your regular? I got dude, I got piles of cars. The piles of cars.
Did you find tires that fit on any of those cars?
Okay, Alan.
You're getting an ad hoc kind of random. I've had multiple people offering me for the GT40.
I have about 20 of them.
Apparently that one is hard to find these days.
It's not that hard. I have about 4 of these.
Well, you're the first person to buy that particular GT40.
This I can put a different rear end in, I think. This one I can put a different rear end for. Like, but I don't know if those don't have no magnets in.
Yeah, so this Camaro is this Camaro is the closest thing I have to what they're running.
That's a TJ.
Yeah.
Or Johnny.
Greg, one of those cars looked like it had a motor like
Yeah, that little
Dennis was
can
working
motor.
on.
Yeah, that's the one he's working on right now.
It's a Mega G Plus
Except with no G in it.
with no G in it, right?
Yeah, those motors are even a little bigger than the one that I've got here.
Wow.
Trying to
Don't know
knock
if
the car
Greg
over.
can show that picture.
Oh, okay.
And can you show that to the guys, Greg?
Oh, wait, well, stop talking. Go back to Dennis, show that again and say something.
All right, I'm talking now, so let's see if is it coming through on your end.
That's like
Oh,
a
hang on, sorry,
gravity
I've got-
car.
Yeah, it's a gravity
That's
car.
like this one right here. It's
Oh,
like a
there we go.
land shark. Here, check this out.
Yeah, that's a
Hang on,
land
Dennis.
shark. These the angle winder land shark. The ones that I'm building here are inlines, but they're kind of copies
Okay.
of an inline land shark.
Right.
So that's the one you built, Dennis?
Yeah. The
What's his
last
name?
Al
Tim
Thurman.
Smith builds those too, I believe.
You know Tim Smith?
No.
Apparently he builds those too.
Yeah.
Is that, you
So
saying
those are
that's worth running around that truck downstairs?
Well, I don't know if it's worth it. or
Let's
not.
find out. I'll be right back. We're gonna put this guy on a track downstairs.
Okay, once you get to the track, I'll pin you, Greg.
Okay, I'll mute myself here.
Isn't it wonderful how you just snap an axle out and drop a different one in? Nothing like that in 32.
Yeah, where's Alan when you need him?
Did Greg manage to turn up?
There's Alan's back. Alan is
Out of the
back.
car.
That's
Did
right.
Greg
I'm
manage
back in the office.
did Greg manage to arrange a blue and yellow car from those guys?
I don't know.
Be criminal if he didn't.
So Alan, I take it you were having a Stella, but you're wearing Guinness, huh? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
There you go. Guinness is a winter drink for me. And summer here right now, and it's hot and it's clammy, and I think it's hot and clammy everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. So yeah, but for me, Guinness is definitely a cold December, October kind of in the pub, cold kind of place. Cold, wet, rainy, in
Fish and
Ireland.
chips and Guinness. Yep.
Like a sandwich.
Yeah, chew it before it goes down.
I was going to say, yeah, it's a meal in a glass, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they always say. That's what they always say.
Oh, okay, I'm going to pin Greg here. He's at the track. Here we go. All right, Greg, you have the show, sir.
Get someone to hold the camera for him and zoom out of it. Otherwise, we won't see anything.
Yeah. Oh man.
there we go.
Oh, geez.
It's not pinned on my screen.
I'm still hooking up my controller, so just be patient here.
Okay. It's not, Wayne. I pinned it. Look at your
Maybe
view.
I have to talk first. I don't know.
It's okay. I'm with it.
Okay, I just have to find out from Greg when they release the cats to chase the cars.
Driving this scale of car, you do get asked, how do you see the thing?
Oh, wow, that's Ken Miles's GT40.
That's probably not a good mesh.
Yeah.
It's just a drop-in axle on a cheap car. Yeah, that ain't right. Nope, we're not gonna run that.
It sounds like a trip to the dentist.
How do you pop out an axle? I don't want to bust anything. Just make it. Just make it hammer.
Bring it here.
All right, I'm coming. Talk amongst yourselves, gentlemen.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
unpin you for now, Greg, and
Don't force it. Use a bigger hammer.
oh, Don, what do you got there?
That is a Lexan body on a ultra slim Aurora chassis that I built years ago.
Yeah.
What got to do with money? That's not how it actually works. Well,
Very nice.
Pull your money out of your wallet. What you got? Yeah. Talk, you know.
And Jeremy
Okay,
has
sounds like
something
we've,
too.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, let me just unpin. Sorry about that.
We run a
Where are you?
a
Jeremy?
drag meet every couple of months over here. Sadly, this is a stock car I picked up off eBay, and my wife painted it razzle dazzle, but it's an absolute scorcher, and it wins medals each time. So I'm an HO
scale.
Yeah. It's I couldn't tell you what it is. It's a scale electric motor thing, but it's.
Oh, we
it's a
lost
stock-
it.
Yeah.
We lost it. Your phone's up.
But yeah, it's all we can do to it is paint it. But it's a Nissan, and it's every 2 months we have a little race.
Micro-electric.
Yeah. Again, I just bought it on eBay, and it's a winner. It's an absolute winner. I can't claim any credit. You're not allowed to touch it. Take it from stock. Put some super tires on it. Job done. I've got so many medals. I
Nice.
don't know what to do with them.
Oh, Don's got a whole. Oh, are those all T-Jets?
Yes, they are.
Original
Yes.
T-Jets?
These are just my
Uh-oh,
spare
Chris.
chassis. I probably have about 250 original Thunderjets.
Whoa.
Whoa.
There you go. It literally is powered by the fan.
Oh, hang on. Let me just pin you there, Greg. Hang on a second. It's all you. Let's see it go.
Right?
Let's see it go.
Well, you're not going to see very
Oh,
much, but I'll
wow.
make it go past the screen here.
Okay.
It charges the power supply.
That is cool.
Wow.
And it's hard to drive. It doesn't have any brakes.
Yeah, but it'll mix your drink for you though.
You gotta keep your momentum up.
I know, but then I gotta. Well, I want to try at least once around the track before you show me up.
No, we want to show you.
It's a class. Honestly, it's a class.
Oh, really?
Watch.
All right.
All right, take it in deep.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, nice. He's used the switch. Okay, show me how it's done. Can I zoom in? Probably not.
No, just follow it around the track, Greg. That's perfect.
I'm
That's
trying.
perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
I'm trying. Oh,
Gonna go, Charlie.
you crashed it.
Yeah, you wrecked it. Yeah, I killed somebody with the blade.
So as you see, we're having fun here.
Yeah.
The racing
Yeah,
starts
that's,
tomorrow.
that's technically an airline crash, isn't it?
Everybody's dead. Oh my God, humanity.
Oh,
Oh, geez.
Hindenburg.
Oh, found a dead spot.
No, you're actually out.
Am I?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not driving that thing around anymore. That's way too hard. All right, I'm done talking. You guys keep going.
Are you done?
I mean, what else do I got to show you?
I don't know. It really sounded like a trip to the dentist. That was amazing.
Are you bored? I mean, there's got to be other things to talk about.
Well, we've got about 5 minutes, so I didn't know if anyone else had anything else they wanted to touch on.
Well, I mean, feel
Oh,
free to-
Alan has his controller. Wait.
Okay,
yeah,
so there
that's-
we go.
Okay, let me pin you, Alan. There you
This
go,
is how
sir.
we go. After lots of discussion with lots of people, this is you got me on full screen. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
This is the solution I found. I'm on the idea that I'm not going to hide anything about what I'm doing.
The relay blip wire is pink, so I'm not hiding it. I did consider taking one of these wires out and making it a dual core so that the relay that kicks, sorry, the wire that kicks the relay would be completely hidden. But that's not what I'm really doing here. I mean, it really is completely open to everyone. And I wanted to keep the relay as close to the circuit as possible.
Yeah.
So put it right in a box here. So in this box, this is just my Mark 1 box. Really, there's nothing else in there apart from a connector and and the relay. Really nothing. Let me just wire it up. It's quite simple to do. Let me just put this on here. You guys can hear it. And Greg would be interested in this because it has a bearing on the mode 2 that we were talking about. So here we go. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but in kid mode, mode 2, you're not hearing that at all because it's not kicking. Whereas if I put medium fast mode, you should be able to hear that relay kick. All right, so if you're in mode 2, that's kid mode, and it doesn't matter where you rotate the speed to. It's not ever going to open the relay. So what I found about using mode 2, I think Greg alluded to this 2-3 weeks ago. I went to a track and he was racing a Mosler, and he should have used mode 2 and calmed the damn thing down. Wasn't really sure whether it was going to work or not. Mode 2 does work, and I can tell you mode 2 in slow mode does not open this relay bypass. I mean, it's useful. It's a useful tool, and it's fully documented by Slotted, and it's not part of the controller. It's just part of the plug. So there you go. Worthwhile knowing.
Well, I mean, that's what that little pointer is for. When I pull the trigger, there's a little inside. I can see a pointer that goes from 5 round to 50.
This one?
No, it's on the back of the trigger. It's part of the mechanical when you move the trigger.
Just showing the number of degrees of rotation, I think.
Yeah,
Is it?
It's just something on the board. It's just something on the board to show how far the magnetic sweep is, because it's a non-contact controller. There's no contact.
When I noticed it and looked inside and actually spotted it, I thought, shouldn't that go back to 0? And then I started investigating the mechanicals, and it's like, no, that's all doing all the throw it can do.
Yeah, it is. And if you ever disassemble that whole thing inside here, you have to recalibrate the controller. I mean, I've never taken the inside of the controller apart. I've never taken the trigger off the board. So, you know, it's something you shouldn't do unless you're willing to go through a complete recalibration.
No, I'm way. No, I just wondered what purpose it served. Really, that's all.
Looks pretty on the circuit board.
Might be all. Super technical.
Very cool. Whoa, look, you perfect timing, guys. Perfect timing. That's 2 hours. Listen, thank you all so very much for showing up for number 66. Greg, thanks for the walkabout. We'll see you guys all next week, and I hope the substitute teacher was good.
Okay.
Good stand-in.
Have a good one. Yeah, it's good to talk to you all.
Okay, I'm
See you
going to
soon.
stop recording.
Bye.